the non-profit foundation that Justine, my wife, and I have run alongside this music that I make. I've always told these stories. This was my cheap therapist for the last 35 years, and sometimes I was signed to big record labels, and they would say, look, if you could write a Love You Baby, Want You Baby song and cheer up, we might sell a few albums, you know? That never happened. You've got to be true to yourself. And so, but I try to make sense of it all and point to hope as I was going along the way. But in the last 5-6 years, I had the itch to do something more. So we found this non-profit foundation. The catalyst really was that last song I just sang, The Luxury of Despair, about 4.5 years ago. I went to play a music festival in the West Bank in Palestine. And I stayed on for 9 days to observe life for the people there behind the wall. In the Ada refugee camp, which is 1.5 kilometers square, about 15,000 people, without a blade of grass, without a swimming pool, without a library, without any facilities, without any real hope. And 99.9% of those people have done nothing wrong, and it is wrong. As if a wall is ever the answer to any problem in this world. And the effect on young people is absolutely devastating. They can't go down the road 20 minutes to Jerusalem, let alone find a place in a university or think of traveling to visit your beautiful country or where I live or anything like that. It's just devastating. But in the midst of that, you know, the human spirit is phenomenal. There is a children's theatre in the middle of that camp in a room about the size of this. A friend of mine called Abed, he serves 5,000 kids every week. And what he does is he gives them musical instruments, he brings in drama teachers and artists to give them a means of expression through the arts, a positive means in such a negative place. He talks about building the peace within that we might make peace with others. It's a beautiful thing that he does. At the end of those 9 days, I'd seen some really things that made me very, very angry and sad and despairing. And I said to him, he had his beautiful 4-year-old daughter in his arms. I said, Abed, how do you do this? I said, if I was in here for 6 months and I was responsible for her, maybe some irrational side of my Welsh temperament might come to the fore and I would do something here that I might really regret because I can only stand so much. How do you do it? And he looked at me with these beautiful bright eyes full of wisdom and said, Martin, if all I do is get angry or sad, I give her no hope for the future. I do not have the luxury of despair. He said it before Bernie Sanders said it. And when I looked at him and I heard those words, I knew two things. One was that I had the title of a song, because you never lose that on time. Secondly, I just knew I wanted to help this gentleman. And I went out I do 170 shows a year worldwide, and a lovely sort of audience who were on the same page. And we just talked about the issues for those 6 months, and the money that we raised in that time we gave to him. It was a significant amount of money, and we thought, well, this really works, so let's do it. We formed a trust, a foundation with the board of trustees. And we support grassroots organizations right around the world. The day after he that shall not be mentioned was elected, I stayed up all night to watch that thing, and I was sad and despondent, as I often seem to be, but not without hope. But I went out to the streets in Wales, in Cardiff, where I come from, just to get a loaf of bread. And I saw 3 random acts of kindness by people on the streets, just silly little things, just kindness. And it made me realize something very, very important, that there were no less good people in the world that day than there had been the day before. That we remain on the winning side. That light will always overcome the darkness of all that's being pontificated right now, you know? And every day around the world there are amazing people who get up and do the most amazing, beautiful things. And that's who we support. The big organization's great, carry on, they do great stuff, but often a husband and wife, a small community, an individual spot something that's not right, and they are so passionate and dedicated to putting it right, but they don't get the grants, they don't get the publicity, and we try to put that right. Well, we're now on our 7th project. Our second one was in Guatemala. A husband and wife in Vancouver spotted it was not death that created orphans in Guatemala, but poverty. They got some land together with a group of them, they bought it, they've made it self-sustaining, beautiful, built these homes on it, and they can now take 21 families out of abject poverty for 2 years, nourish them, educate them, give the moms a craft and a job, and gently put them back into Guatemalan society so that poverty does not rip families apart. Our third one was a homeless shelter back in Wales in the UK, where I'm from. A friend of mine who feeds young people every day who fall through the net of social services. He feeds them, he finds them work, he brings in health carers. He's doing miracles on £8,000 a year. We doubled his budget for him. Our 4th project was in Uganda with albinism, a disease that will still kill 98% of adults before the age of 40 through skin cancer because they do not have sunscreen. How crazy is that? Husband and wife from Milton Keynes have been working there for 15 years, literally day to day themselves, living dedicated to that continent, doing beautiful work, not only bringing in the medical supplies, but also educating against the stigma of that disease in that country, especially for young little kids who have it, who get kidnapped and It's dreadful. Our next project was in Canada, the First Nations, Native Americans as you would call them, the grassy narrows. They had their water supply poisoned by the government in the 60s in Ontario. 10 tons of mercury jumped into it, wiped out their chain supply, their culture. They lost many of their eldership, and they haven't had recompense for that. We helped them march down to Toronto, where they got meetings with high-ranking government officials. It's now all over the media in Ontario. It looks like they're going to get the recompense they deserve after 60 years. Our next project was back in the UK, Festival Spirit. They facilitate severely disabled people to go to music festivals, where they don't have the infrastructure to care for people with severe disabilities. One of their beautiful stories is a young man lost both his legs in Afghanistan, wouldn't come out of the house, all that stuff. They encouraged him to come to this music a festival. He got together, like-minded people, found community. Last year he competed in the Paralympics in Rio. And right now, I want to tell you, this is a very special night for me. It's the first chance I can talk about it in Massachusetts. Our brand new project, our 7th project, is called I Am Strong. A husband and wife in Massachusetts, they lost their daughter to suicide at the age of 13. She took her own life. They were unaware that she was sad, that she had these issues going on, and of course it was devastating to them. But out of the ashes of that, they decided to do something positive. And an organization called I Am Strong, they facilitate counselors and people to go into schools to create safe places so that, again, the stigma of mental health can be broken down for adults too. They're doing amazing work on a small budget, and we've been working with them this 6 months now up to July, and we will give them the money we raise in that time. That's what we do. So if you fancy a few of your books going across all these different projects as we find them, and I trust me, Justine runs it from the road. It's amazing. We just take the money we give. It's just a beautiful facilitation to find these grassroots projects. It works. People's lives have changed, and it's so fired me up after 35 years. I'm ready to go for the next 35. So at the end of the show tonight, please go and take a look at that and sign up for our newsletter list and all the rest of it. But what really blesses us is someone says, well, here's $10 a month or something. And if you do that, we give you a free CD. So I know you're all going to sign up. That's it.